What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Mo Hunt Silver. Sitting in front of me, I do have two more circulated boxes of pennies to hunt for our Penny Hunt and Fill series, and this is going to be episode number 32, boxes 62 and 63. These are the NF String & Sons boxes, so they do have the holes in the bottom, so I could tell they were circulated, but I do like to open up any box that I get and do an ender search. And box number 62 is going to have one wheat cent ender right there, and also look like a pretty decent mix of copper hiding here. And then box number 63 is going to have two enders, which one of them is right there, again reverse facing, and the second one, oh, right there it is. It looks like a 1955 possibly, but this box again looks like it has a nice mix of copper. So we'll just have to see what's all hiding inside these boxes as far as wheat cents, errors, varieties, proofs, foreigns, anything else cool like that. But definitely wheat cents that we can add to our albums right here, because we did make it up to 229 spots out of the possible 287 to fill. So we're getting closer. And I'm hoping we can add at least one more spot in today's hunt. So we'll start with box number 62 right here. And I think how I'll do this is I'm going to hunt 10 rolls and do a recap after every 10 rolls. Unless I find something really sweet. And then I'll just come back and share it with you right away. But let me get everything set up and we'll get to hunting. Rolls 1 through 10 are going to give us 3 wheat cent finds. First one is going to be a 1950 out of Philadelphia. Then we have a 1956 out of Denver. And a 1957 out of Philly. So we can move on to rolls 11 through 20. The second 10 roll set is going to treat us a little bit better. We found a total of 5 finds out of these 10 rolls. We did get our first foreign out of the box in 1974 out of Canada. And then we found 4 wheat cents. The first one here is going to be a 1941. It is not any of the double dies. There's 3 possible double dies on the 41. And then we have a 1949 out of Philly, not in bad shape, pretty average. And then we found 2 oldies, a 1916 out of Philly, not too bad, and a 1929 out of Philly. Alright, so that's pretty good. Definitely take that. We'll move on to the third set of 10, and I'll be right back with the finds. Well, I hunted through 10 roll set number 3, guys, and this is all we found in those 10 rolls. We got 2 finds here. We're going to have our second foreign, which is a Canadian for the box, 1988 on this one. And then we found a 1941 out of Philly that we can actually check under the microscope, because I have not looked yet, to see if it is any of the possible DDOs that the 41 could have. So there are 2 of them on the motto, "In God We Trust," which I do not see, and also "Liberty." And then there's a tougher one to find that is on the date, which would be on the 1 and the 9. And I definitely don't see it on this one. So we'll just have a regular 1941 Philly. But that'll be wheat cent number, wheat cent number 8 for the box. So we'll move on to set number 4. And the last roll in set number 4 does have a wheat cent ender. So at least we know we have that. But let's see what else we can find in the next 10 rolls. 10 roll set number 4 is going to give us a few more finds. We are going to have another Canadian. And this one's going to be a 1973. So that'll now put us up to 3 Canadians in this box. And then we're going to have 5 more wheat cents to add to our total. And our oldest one out of these 10 rolls is going to be a 1939 Philadelphia right there. And then we had a pretty grungy looking 1944. Some pretty rough shape. And then 3 from the 50s. A 1950 Philadelphia. A 1952 Philadelphia. It's kind of hard to read that last digit. And then a 1955 Philly. And it's not the double die. So that'll put us up to 13 wheat cents. And we have 10 more rolls in this box, which will be hunted right now. Alright guys, that's going to do it for the first box of this 2-box hunt. And the last 10 rolls treated us pretty well. We got a total of 8 finds up here on the board for these 10 rolls. And we did find our 4th Canadian cent for this hunt so far. 1998 right there. We also found 7 wheat cents altogether out of these 10 rolls. Very productive. But we did find a pretty beat up 1917 out of Philly. And it's actually bent a little bit. We found a second 1929. This one's also going to be a Philadelphia. Pretty grungy. It might have been in the ground actually at one point. And we found 2 more from the 40s. A 1941 out of Denver. And a 1949 out of Philly. And then we got 3 more 50s. A 1951 Denver. And then 2 examples of the 1957 out of Philly. So that'll give us 20 wheat cents in this box. And I would say this was a pretty good box. We also found 2 2009s. One of them being the Presidency design, which is the toughest out of all of the designs to find. And it's also a Philadelphia. And that's the even tougher one to find than the Denver. So, not a bad box. We just have to weigh our copper, because we did get quite a bit out of this one. And let me slide my mat over a little. There we go. Get the scale turned on. And so I mean, this little copper jar here is almost full. So, let's see what we have. All right, we're going to have a little over 3 1/4 pounds. I'm going to say that's 3 pounds and 13 1/2 ounces, because this cup weighs about a ½ ounce or so. But that is actually the most copper I've gotten out of a box in quite a while, because I'm usually right around the 3 pound mark. So great copper box as well. So I'm hoping, get that one thrown off to the side. I'm hoping box number 63 will give us just as much copper. And this one does have 2 enders, and one of them is right there, and the second one is somewheres back here. Here it is. It's an obverse facing. But all right, let's get into box number 63. 10 roll set number 6, or set number 1 for box number 2, will give us 5 finds. And we're going to have a foreign, a 1983 out of Canada. And then we have 4 wheat cents. We did find another oldie. We have another 1917 out of Philly with a pretty huge gouge at the top there, right above Lincoln's head. Then we also found a 1945 out of Philly, pretty common. And then 2 from the 50s, a 1951 Denver and a 1957 Denver. So we will move on to 10 roll set number 7. I've now finished hunting through 10 roll set number 7, and we're going to have another 7 finds on the board, 6 of them being wheat cents. But we did find a different foreign than a Canadian. We have one here from the Commonwealth of the Bahamas from 1997. And that does have the starfish, kind of like that one. And then as far as our wheat cents go, we got 2 more oldies. We did find a 1920 Philadelphia that looks like it was possibly in the ground. And then also a 1934 Philadelphia that looks like it might have been in the ground as well. And then we have 3 from the 40s. A 1942 Philadelphia, 1944 Philly, and a 1948 that might upgrade the book. We'll have to see at the end of the hunt. And then we did have 1 from the 50s, a 1956 out of Denver. So we will now move on to set number 8. And let's hope for some goodies. 10 roll set number 8 for the hunt is going to give us a little bit lighter on the finds. We only got 3 in this one. We did get our 3rd foreign for this box, 1984 out of Canada. And then, guys, we got another oldie here. Got another 1917 out of Philly that looks like it was probably in the ground. Like a couple of these wheat cents in this hunt so far have looked. But I will take it for sure. And then our second wheat cent that we found in this 10 roll set is going to be a 1940 out of Philly. Pretty average circulation on that one. So we'll move on to 10 roll set number 9. And let's hope for some more wheat cents or possibly an Indian head. That would be sweet. 10 roll set number 9 treated us way better than 10 roll set number 8. We have a total of 9 finds on the board here. And the first one is going to be a foreign, a different foreign this time. We're going to have one from the Republic of Panama right there. So this will be the 3rd country represented in this box. And that is going to be a 1996. It's a pretty cool design. I like that. And then we had 8 wheat cents. We did have another somewhat older wheat cent here. We have a 1935 out of Denver. And then we found 2 1944 Philadelphias. And we have 1 1946 Philly and a 1949 Philly. Right there. Then we found 2 1955 Phillies. Not the DDOs or even the poor man's. Just regular old examples, which is fine. And a last year, 1958 Denver. So that was not bad. Pretty good for that set. And now we'll move on to the last set of the hunt. Alright guys, the last 10 rolls of this hunt have been hunted. And I would say that these last 10 rolls were probably, for sure, the best 10 rolls as far as the amount of finds that we had. So there are 14 finds up here on the mat right now from these 10 rolls. And we did find 3 more Canadians. And the first one and the oldest one is going to be a 1967. And that is going to be a bird scent, which is a commemorative. Then we had a 1968 and a 1988. And we did find 11 wheat cents in these 10 rolls. So we did find just over 1.1 wheat cents per roll. But the oldest of the wheat cents is going to be a 1937. And then we had 4 from the 40s, a 1941. That is not any of the DDOs, unfortunately. And then a very difficult and trashed 1942 Philadelphia, 1944 Philly, and another difficult to read and trashed, but 1946 Philadelphia. And then as far as our 50s go, we had 6. First one is going to be a 1951 out of Denver, corroded again. Then we had a 1956 Philadelphia and a 1956 Denver. And then a parking lot, 1957 Philadelphia and a 1957 Denver. And then a last year, 1958 Philly. So as far as our totals go then for box number 2 of this hunt, we had a total of 31 wheat cents out of this box, which is totally great. And we did have 2 oldies, 2 1917s. We had 1 from the 20s, a pretty trash 1920. And then we're going to have 3 from the 30s because this guy can get added to that. And then we had a total of 9 and 4 is 13 from the 40s and 12 from the 50s. Then we'll have a total of 7 foreign cents out of this box. And we did find 5 2009s and only 2 different designs. The formative years and the professional life. That's going to be it. We didn't find any errors or varieties in this 2-box hunt. But let's see how much copper we found. And get the scale on. So our cup's not quite as full as the last box, but it's still pretty full. And that's going to be, I would say, 3 pounds and 3... Yeah, 3 pounds, 3.5 ounces. We'll go with that. So that's not bad. That's another over 3 pound box. That's pretty good. And yeah, let me get everything together for this entire hunt. And then we'll see what we can add into our albums, if anything. Alright, here we are, guys, with the highlights for today's hunt. Out of these 2 penny boxes, we got a total of 51 wheat cents, which is pretty darn good, honestly. We didn't have any errors or varieties, no proofs, nothing like that, but I will definitely take the amount of wheat cents that came out of these 2 boxes. And these boxes did produce 4 teens wheat cents. I think we have 3 from 1917 and 1 from 1916. Then we got 3 from the 20s, a 1920 filly and 2 1929 fillies. We got 4 from the 40s, or 30s, I'm sorry. And all in pretty bad shape except for our 1939 right there. Then we got a total of 19 from the 40s. And the only one that looked decent was this one right here, the 1948 filly. So we'll have to see if that's going to upgrade in the albums here in just a minute. And then we got a total of 21 out of the 50s. So not bad. I definitely like the amount of pre-40s we got. Usually you don't find pre-40s that often, so that's awesome. We did get just a little over 7 pounds of copper right there out of these 2 boxes. So that's pretty good copper production. And then some bright and shinies over here to compare to our albums, which will be the next clip. So I'll see you as soon as I have everything compared and see if we have any possible additions. Lincoln Cent Hunt and Fill number 32 for the channel is going to finish us out with only 2 upgrades. We did not have any additions in this one, so we're still at 229 of the possible 287 to fill in all of our Lincoln Cent albums. But like I said, we did have 2 upgrades, and the first one is going to be right here. That 1948 that we found today definitely did upgrade, because this is the one right here that we had in the album, which still does not look bad. A lot of good detail on there still. But today's just has some mint luster and looks pretty good. And then our second upgrade is going to be the 1980 Denver. We found one today that was very nice looking. Like, it honestly probably just came out of a mint set. So we're going to use that to upgrade this guy right here. That looks pretty good as well, but has a few stains on it. So the books look that much better. You got 2 more spots, looking very nice. And these 2 books here are just about full. The only one we really need help in yet is our 1909 to 1940 book. Most of the spots, I'd say at least half of the spots in that book are still empty. I really don't think we'll get to fill that book, but we can get darn close. And we'll just see how many we can actually get. But that's going to wrap up this one, guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please give the video that thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, please remember to hit that subscribe button. So I'd like to thank everybody for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.